John Fordham, a 55-yard punt return. Ty Macon, a 90-yard kickoff return. And of course, we had one other, and I think that was Ty with just 5 yards. But that's some...
We actually didn't drive for a touchdown. Didn't have to. But you know, Coach Bryant used to say that football games are won on 4 or 5 big plays. The team that can get those big plays are usually going to be the winner. So I hope we can keep on getting those big plays. That's the easy way of scoring if you can get them. And the thing that I enjoyed most, though, about the football game was the fact that we could get them all in the ball game, and particularly on Parents' Night, and every mom and daddy could be proud of their son, see them out there playing, and the kids all played hard. That's one thing about this team so far, is when that ball snapped, whether we're on offense or defense, they're playing hard, and they're giving it full speed effort. Really, we don't want to see mistakes, but if they do it full speed and make a mistake, then we can correct the mistake. But it's hard to get somebody going full speed if they don't really want to. But the kids are playing full speed, and they're doing real good now, and they're showing improvement each week, and I'm real proud of them.
Well, Coach, speaking of going full speed, you know, there's also a big defensive series you had right at the beginning of the game when they grabbed that fumble and went down to the 3-yard line.
That was a big play, too.
That was a big play.
But that was against us.
Yeah, but there was a big series for us that the defense really, I think they finally wound up on their own 33.
Well, they ended up punting. That was a real strange play. Benji came out on the option and he gave the defensive end a hand fake with the ball in his hand, and then the linebacker, I believe, or somebody came through and slapped the ball, and the big tackle that was trailing Benji caught it in midair and just took it. He was running pretty fast too.
Yeah.
And Ty, who was in the pitch route, had to stop and come back and chase him down, and tripped him up on about the 3, and then on 4th down they ended up punting. So our defense really did a tremendous job right there. They threw them for 2 straight losses, and then they had a pass interference called on the offense. So they ended up having to punt the football. But that could have been a big turning point in the ballgame.
Well, we were talking before the show about the fact that Gordon Central is not without talent, and certainly not without size.
No, they're not. They're a good-looking physical football team, big kids, and they've got some good running backs. They've made improvement each week, and before the season's up, they're going to beat some people, and a lot of those guys will be back for a couple more years. So they'll be in our region the next 2 years, so we'll have to get used to looking at them.
All right. Well, I thought the kicking game certainly came around Friday night.
Oh, it sure did. The return game especially, but also our punter Jay Dukes did an excellent job of punting. We only punted twice, but he averaged 41 yards, and the first one he kicked almost went out of the stadium. But his kickoffs, I think 3 of them went into the end zone, and that's tremendous. And then George Woods looked real good on his field goal and his extra points, so I feel real good about our kicking game. I felt good about our kicking game when we were at camp. But, and Jay potentially is a tremendous punter, but he's had some tough luck up until this ball game. He's been shanking a few of them, but he did a great job. You won't find anybody that works any harder than Jay Dukes. He will stay out there all night and day to try to improve and work, and that may be a fault that he works too hard at it. You know, he can get his leg tired, but he's come around now and doing what he should be doing.
All right, this kid with Gordon Central was throwing the ball a lot and keeping our secondary busy, and I thought they handled it very well. And I think that when you think about it, our first unit defense has yet to give up a score.
Well, I hope we can say that later on too. But you know, the defense has come a long way, because we graduated 9 kids off that last year's squad and starters, and they've really done a good job, and they play reckless, and that's enjoyable. People are going to move the ball on us some, but I think we may bend a little, but I don't believe we're going to break too often. Secondary has come around and done a good job. We've got some speed back there in the secondary, and we've got some kids that are intelligent and really care. We made a mistake the other night, and that was just a case of bad judgment. But I think that they're going to get better and better with each ball game, and we got to get. As long as we can keep making big plays on offense, I'm not really going to complain about that. Years ago, I used to think that if we didn't take the football and use up 12 or 14 plays and drive that thing in and score, that we weren't doing well. But heck, if we can score in one play now, I'll take that. Just get points on the board. But I would like to see us get a couple of good drives going, just to see if we are really that disciplined.
Well, you're talking about losing all the starters on defense. Of course, in the secondary, you did return Bo Hammer.
Bo's the only one, really. John Fordham played some back there, but he wasn't a starter. John played a lot of places last year. This year, we only playing John at receiver and cornerback. But, and of course, he's our punt returner. He and Ryan Minningham, and then he and Ty Macon return kickoffs, but John's a very valuable man. He played an awful lot last year. But Marcel Anderson last year, the other corner, he was a third-team tailback for us. And Marcel's worked extremely hard since last fall to move in there and help us. And then our strong safety this year is George Woods, and George was a backup linebacker last year.
Well, it's looking better and better. I thought Bo had his usual good game, and I thought Marcel looked good Friday night. I think maybe we're going to have both of those men on the show later on. Well, let's cut off now, and we'll come back after the game film and talk about going to Southeast next week.
All right, sir.
All across America, people are working to build their dreams, their futures. Your independent insurance agent understands the need to protect those hopes and dreams. We help protect millions of homes, autos, and lives, and more businesses and employees than anyone else. To protect your hopes and dreams, see your independent insurance agent. It pays to make the independent choice.
It pays to see Pruden & Brooks. Call 278-1149.
The Green Spot at 309 West Emory Street has been your grocery shopping choice in the same location for 34 years. The meat department at the Green Spot has the freshest meats hand-cut daily and never pre-packaged. The produce department at the Green Spot is second to none for freshness and service. The Green Spot specializes in personal service and customer satisfaction. Your complete one-stop grocery store is the Green Spot on West Emory Street, open 6 days a week.
There's a carpet sale underfoot with savings so big you'll want to kick up your heels. But don't worry, partner. The carpet is made with Anso Crush Resistor Nylon, the fashionable fiber for your walk of life. And hers, too. Anso Crush Resistor, the most fashionable fiber underfoot.
Carpets of Dalton. For the best prices on the biggest selection of floor coverings, exit 135, under the big sign in Dalton, Georgia.
Tonight we're going to feature the defensive secondary, and with us on your left is Bo Hammock, who is a veteran defender, and on the right, Marcel Anderson, who is for the first year playing in the defensive secondary. I welcome both of you here tonight on the show. And let's talk first now about the game Friday night. Bo, I talked with Coach Chappell about this being a big play night. And, of course, John had a couple of touchdowns on punt returns, and Ty had a kickoff return and other big plays. But I don't think anything was any bigger than when Gordon Central was on your 3-yard line, first and goal, at the opening of the game, and they wind back up on their 33-yard line and have to punt. Bo, tell me about that. What happened there on the goal line that you all stopped them?
Well, it was exciting because, they had their big lineman back there in the power eye, and our lineman got under and we just stuffed it. Next play, we got a big sack, and they just ended up on the 30-yard line.
And they got an offensive pass interference penalty there,
yes,
too,
sir.
which was a very obvious thing, yeah. Well, it was a big series, and turned into something very positive that could have been disastrous and may have changed the complexion of that game, Marcel.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you liking this playing defense? Now, you've been, up till now, you've been mainly a running back, haven't you?
Yeah, I like it better on defense, though.
All right. And you like it better when you win, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Well, now, your grandmother, Geraldine, is a good friend of mine, and we talk about you, and I keep telling her what Coach Chappell says about you, and he says that you've got great intelligence and speed and a desire to contribute, and you are contributing.
Yeah,
Bo, what about the rest of the season?
Well, I think, you know, the game Friday was positive, but we still got to look ahead and see who we play next and take them one at a time.
All right, now Southeast is coming up, and we're down there. And following Southeast is Murray County. And everyone is saying, you know, Murray may be the team to beat in the region. Now, you're not going to be thinking about Murray County this week, are you?
No, so we're just going to take one at a time.
All right, because I tell you, they've got Coach Hargis is an outstanding coach, and I think he's going to cause Southeast to improve week by week, so we need to get ready. Congratulations on the game Friday night. Let's get ready, both of you and the rest of the team, for Southeast.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Mommy's little sweetheart.
Now there's a new Stainmaster carpet that handles foot traffic like never before. New Stainmaster Extra Life. Only from DuPont.
Hub's Hardware and Garden Center is your complete hardware and home improvement center. The greenhouses at Hub's have your favorite fall and winter plants, including mums. Hub's Hardware and Garden Center has fountains, trees and shrubs, pine straw, seeds and fertilizer, birdhouses and feeders. Hub's has a complete line of mowers, Snapper, Toro, Echo, parts and service for all equipment sold. Hub's has gas logs, fireplace inserts, and all accessories for the fireplace. Hub's Hardware and Garden Center has daily delivery service and is open 7 days a week at the corner of Walnut Avenue and Dug Gap Road.
Kevin Henry, honor student, athlete, and survivor. He shouldn't have even lived through the car accident, and for 40 days, he lay in a coma, his lungs damaged, and his legs burned and broken. But even before Kevin came to, his family knew that in time and with therapy, Kevin would recover. Thanks to the most complete range of hospital services in North Georgia at Hamilton Medical Center in Dalton. Now Kevin's back on the move from an accident he barely survived.
All right, now we're going to feature the offense. And with us we have two veteran offensive linemen, the leaders of the Catamount team, and each of them had another great game Friday night. On the left is Bucky Wright, he's a guard, and on the right is Tolly Campbell, the tight end. Congratulations on Friday night, and glad to have you here tonight, and let's talk about Gordon Central. Bucky, those are big fellas that you were looking at every time you got on the line. I mean, that's as big a team as I've seen coming here in some time.
I know, they were really big.
Well, tell us about that game.
They were, we knew they were going to be big, but we also knew they were going to be kind of slow, so we tried to just work on our quickness, and that's what we did, so it worked, I guess.
All right. And what about you, Tolly?
I mean, quickness helps a lot. I mean, if you have quickness, I mean, it's a big positive for you. I mean, being big helps, but I mean, shoot, you have to be quick too.
But they had several that were 6'4", 5, 240, 50, 260, and there was one that Ty Macon tried to run down.
He's pretty fast.
He was.
He was a quick one.
And he was, and the program showed him at 250, and it looked like he probably was every bit of that.
Yeah. He had a little bit of speed on him too.
Well, it was a big play night, and the special teams had a great night Friday night, and as far as the regular offense, you all weren't on the field all that much, were you?
We couldn't give the defense much rest. Yeah, they had to be tired after that one.
All right, Tyler, what do you see coming down the pike the rest of the season?
Well, we just got to be positive and concentrate, practice hard, and just work week to week, and we'll see what comes.
And Bucky, what do you say?
Well, that's pretty much it. We just got to keep going like we're going now. Keep it up.
All right. And what about Matt Icote? You think, what is the progress of his injury?
He tells me he's doing real well, and he hopes he'll be back Murray County. He doesn't know if he'll be playing, but he hopes to be on the field, dressed out practicing.
All right.
By the end.
To start back working out with a team
Right.
maybe that week. Well, I hope that's true. He's had some tough luck during his career, and he's a very capable performer. All right, get ready now for Southeast. The region time is here. All right, good luck to you fellas, and thanks for being
Appreciate
here.
it.
Thanks.
They say all interior design stands on carpeting. When you walk into a room and look down on a wear-dated carpet, that room starts looking up. Wear-dated carpet. If we're not standing behind it, you shouldn't be standing on it.
Continental Products on Bonnie Oaks Drive is committed to service and is the largest in-stock film packaging distributor in the Southeast. Continental Products has qualified professional warehousemen and provides the best service, quality, and competitive pricing possible. Continental Products has with packaging conversion machines and a wide variety of specifically engineered packaging and textile products based on tomorrow's technology today with a large modern fleet. Continental Products now has a new line of packaging containers for the adhesive industry. Continental Products is truly committed to service.
At BASF, we help make carpet more colorful, more durable, more valuable for your home team. At BASF, we don't make the carpet, we make it better.
All right, it's scouting report time now, and it's a special privilege to talk with this coach, Matt Land, who is a new member of the Catamount staff, an old Dalton High Catamount that played for 4 years and went through the recreation program and then went on to Auburn and played in the defensive secondary there. Matt, welcome home.
Thank you very much. It's good to be home.
Are you enjoying it this year?
Oh, it's great. It's a great, good experience for me, and I really enjoy the program, and it's really been exciting, especially getting back and being around some of the coaches and a lot of the kids that I used to work out with in the summers when I'd come home. So it's good to be back. It's good to be back.
Well, most of the coaches that you're working with now were coaching when you were a Catamount playing. So I guess it's really a different atmosphere when you go into the field house, and you go in a different entrance almost, don't you?
Oh, yeah. It really is different. Yeah. That was probably one of the hardest things for me to get used to or to understand was when, one of the other coaches would call me Coach Land. And, it wasn't too long ago, I was just Matt the player, and then suddenly this happened. So it took a while getting used to.
The other coaches are delighted to have you, and they say you're really doing a great job.
Well, thank you.
And I'm sure you're delighted to be here.
It's good to be back.
And you're working with the defensive backs.
Right, the defensive backs, and I'm the one of the defensive coaches for the junior varsity.
Okay.
And it's good to see both sides of the of the spectrum, getting to work with the older kids, but at the same time being a part of that, in a way kind of a feeder system for the varsity with the JV, and it really works out good because I'm getting to know all the kids.
All right.
This year.
Well, your junior varsity record is good this year. We've got 2 wins under our belt, don't we?
That's right.
And when do we have another game?
This Thursday, we'll play Cedartown at 5:30 at Harmon Field.
Okay. And then the following night, you'll be down at Southeast.
That's right.
And,
That's right.
All right. Now, so tell us, you scouted Southeast last Friday against Darlington?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, what can we expect?
Southeast is a very sound team. Coach Hargis, I believe, coming from Marist, brings with him the Marist discipline. They're basically a wishbone split team. They're going to give you 3 backs. They're going to give you a tight end with a split receiver. And like all wishbone teams, I'm sure they've got their bag of tricks. But for the most part, you've got about 4 or 5 plays that they're going to run, and they're really going to run those plays well. You know, they really take pride in those 4 plays, and they're not really going to try to come out and give you a different look and shift to something else. For the most part, it's really Dalton High football in a way. It's that mash mouth football. You know, we're just going to come up and do the best we can. They got some real good personnel in their offense. Their backs, number 9 and number 20, are real. I was really impressed with their speed.
Yeah, one of the Spence boys is still there, isn't it?
That's right. That's right. I believe it's Bruce Spence.
Yeah.
He's number 20. He's a senior this year.
And they've got a running back, Johnson.
That's right. Now he's the fullback, number 24, Matt Johnson. I was really impressed with his vertical running. He runs the dive real well. He hits the hole, hits it real quick, and he's not a guy that's going to come out and give you a lot of moves. He's your typical fullback. You know, he's going to try to put his head down and run over you. So their offense, they're very sound, and I think that probably we're going to see basically the same thing they've done up their first couple of games, because it looks like the kids are beginning to kind of get a grasp of what Coach Hargis and his staff is trying to do, and I think as far as offense, we're not going to see much change.
All right, defensively?
Defensively, they're going to play similar to us. They're going to play a shade defense. Most of their offensive personnel will flip over and play defense, with the exception of about 2 or 3 players. They have 8 seniors and 3 juniors, so it's an experienced defense, one that's probably been put through the dryer a couple times, and they're real aggressive. We're going to see them probably, if they blitz any, they're probably going to come from the outside, because they have the fairly good speed out of the Spence kid, number 20, and they look to me to be a good technique team. They look like their alignment's correct, and it looks like they're stepping with the right foot. So I really look for a good game out of their defense. I believe that's probably where they'll play their best game, will be in the defense.
All right. Well, fine, Matt. Work hard this week in getting the fellas ready, because it's region time now.
Oh, I know. Now it's crunch time.
And again, happy you're here. Coaches are happy you're here. The players are happy you're here.
Well, thank you. It's good to be back. Thank you.
His childhood will have so many ups and downs. And these stairs will hold a lot of memories. But you won't find little mementos in the carpet, because carpet of Trevera polyester has stain resistance that won't wear off in heavy traffic. It's built for beauty that lasts.
Eric!
So chances are,
Just don't understand.
your patience will wear thin long before Trevera does. Of course, one day he'll find himself. When he does, find him a place of his own. For carpet that can take anything. Well, almost anything. Trevera.
The Oakwood Cafe has been serving the Dalton area with fine food for over 50 years. The Oakwood Cafe is as traditional as Catamount football in the fall. You'll always see your friends and neighbors at the Oakwood, and each Friday from 4:30 till 7:30 you can enjoy a fried chicken buffet with all the trimmings. Sherry and Wayne Metcalf and the folks at the Oakwood Cafe provide the official pregame meal for the Catamounts and coaches. And the DHS varsity cheerleaders call the Oakwood Cafe their second home.
DHS varsity cheerleaders say, go Big Red!
At BASF, we help make carpet more colorful, more durable, more valuable for your home team. At BASF, we don't make the carpet, we make it better.
Now we're going to go to the game film of the Gordon Central game last Friday night. And with us to do that on the left is Coach David Cady, who coaches the offensive line, and on the right, Coach Ron McClurd, who is the defensive coordinator, and he works with the linebackers and defensive ends. But before we do that and talk about Gordon Central and talk about what happened last Friday night, Matt Land was on the show tonight, and it sort of dates us, doesn't it, Ron? Yeah.
Sure does.
Yeah, Coach Land was on the show.
That's frightening, very frightening. That's telling you that you've been there a long time.
That's right. It really wasn't too many years that he was sitting there and being interviewed as one of the players.
Yeah, that's right. And Matt's doing a good job for us, and Matt was a fine student and fine player at Dalton High School, and we're happy to have Matt back with us.
All right, well, he's obviously, as I talked with him before the show, and he is just delighted to be back, and I'm sure he's really helping you out.
He sure is, doing a fine job for us, along with our other new coaches. They're doing a real fine job. We're very excited about having them with us.
All right, Friday night, strange ball game in some respects. It's just nothing but big plays all night long, but an interesting and entertaining ball game.
Very exciting ball game. I know that the kids certainly enjoyed it, and it was, you say, it was a game of big plays. I thought certainly the football is made up of three phases, as you know: the offense and the defense and the kicking game, and one is just as important as the other. And in Friday night's ball game, I thought the kicking game certainly took over, and it was just a beautiful job of kicking the ball and covering and returning, and every phase of it was superb, I thought. We had maybe one breakdown in our kickoff coverage team, and I thought Jay Dukes did a wonderful job of kicking the football, and George Woods did a great job of kicking it also. And we've got I think two outstanding kickers and punters in George Woods and Jay Dukes. Both of them have great legs and are getting better every week. And Jay got untracked on punting. He has the ability to be an outstanding high school punter. He's very, very capable.
All right, well, he showed it Friday night. David, did you get by without any injuries on your offensive line Friday?
Yes, we didn't have anybody get hurt. Clint, you know, he hadn't had any contact all week, and we started him at center, and you know, he went through the game unharmed. Really, the first team only ran about 20 plays Friday.
That's right.
Basically, you know, it was either a touchdown, and our special teams kept scoring, and seemed like I was watching the defense play most of the night, which is, you know, when we score 44 points, that's fine. And but as far as, you know, assessing this offensive performance, you know, it was real hard to do.
Yeah. Well, as you say, I think the special teams had about 200 yards themselves, so that's quite a night's work.
21 points, I think.
And 21 points, all right.
And I tell you, you would certainly be remiss if we didn't mention John Fordham's outstanding effort in the return game. John is an outstanding athlete and is a very valuable member of our football team. At various parts of the game, he will play as many as 5 different positions, or we use him in 5 different capacities, for instance.
And this is not the first year he's done
No,
that.
that's right. And a lot of times it's unfair to John, to tell you the truth, to try to ask him to do so much, but he's so valuable to us, we feel like that to get the max out of him, that he's got to be in the ball game. And he can certainly help us as an outstanding receiver with his great speed and good hands and great moves. Once he catches the ball, he knows which way to go with it. And also, we think that he's got to be in the ball game on defense because his ability to cover people and the ability to close on the football once the ball is thrown. And we used him in the first ball game, for instance, as a free safety and at a corner, as a flanker, as a punt returner, and as a kickoff return. So we used him there in 5 positions, and we're getting an awful lot out of John. And John's quite a competitor. He likes to win and knows how to win and is a good athlete. And I was so happy to see him break those the other night. He's worked hard and has some unfortunate injuries with some broken bones and broken fingers and so on. So we're happy to see John back healthy and doing a good job for us.
Well, those two the punt returns for touchdowns were things of beauty. And he really, and David, there was some men down there blocking too, you know, and he followed those blocks and used those blockers well.
We felt like, you know, that we probably could return one against them the way they bunched up and covered. The kickoff return 90 yards by Ty Macon too. I want to mention that he did a real good job following his blockers there. We had a lot of good efforts, you know. Some people didn't get in on it, but they were trying.
Well, we've talked about those big plays. Now let's go to the game film and show them to the folks.
We ran a test on our carpet. Naturally, we walked it 50,000 foot treads. And we proved that Anso Crush Resistor still looked good because Anso Crush Resistor bounces back. But when you come into the showroom, you may want to bring you some test equipment of your own. Anso Crush Resistor, the carpet that bounces back.
The Cope Company's quality comes first. Cope Machinery Company, providing precision work with computer-aided manufacturing, giving you the versatility needed for today's manufacturing, including the carpet and carpet-related industries. Cope Brothers Construction, general contractors for all your industrial, mechanical, commercial, and residential construction needs. Cope Pool Builders, quality work building all types of swimming pools, commercial and residential, including full-service maintenance. All major brands, pool equipment, spas, chemicals, and replacement parts. For all your construction, pool, and machinery needs, call the Cope Companies today, 226-0989.
Childhood will have so many ups and downs. And these stairs will hold a lot of memories. But you won't find little mementos in the carpet, because carpet of Trevera polyester has stain resistance that won't wear off in heavy traffic. It's built for beauty that lasts.
Eric!
So chances are,
Just don't understand.
your patience will wear thin long before Trevera does. Of course, one day he'll find himself. When he does, find him a place of his own. For carpet that can take anything. Well, almost anything. Trevera.
It is our tradition annually to introduce the players and their parents, starting at the left end of the field toward the concession stands. Player number 2, Teddy Ragland, represented by Mrs. Janelle Ragland, Mr. James Macon. Player number 3, Marcel Anderson, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Pete Anderson. Number 4, Charlie Bethel, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Jim Bethel. Number 5, Robert Gilreath, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Jean Gilreath. Number 6, Chad DeFore, represented by Clyde and Kathy Willocks. Number 7, Ryan Minningham, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Matt Morrison. Number 8, Michael Howe, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Steve Howe. Number 9, Anson High, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Laverne Pinckney. Number 10, Matthew Boggs, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Tommy Boggs. Number 11, Jay Dukes, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Buddy Dukes. Number 12, John Fordham, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Jim Fordham. Number 14, Kevin Crawford, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Stan Crawford. Number 15, Benji McConkey, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Vic McConkey. Number 16, Shane Shelton, represented by Mr. Jesse Shelton and Mrs. Vicky Shelton. Number 17, Bo Hammock, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Ace Hammock. Number 18, Jeff Talley, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Lewis Talley. Number 19, J.T. Finley, represented by Mr. and Mrs. David Finley. Number 20, Ty Macon, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Marcus Macon. 21, Zach Stafford, represented by Harris Stafford and Mr. and Mrs. Terry Wilson. Number 22, Ricky Hammondtree, represented by George and Cheryl King. 23, Heath Patterson, represented by Mildred Patterson and Clarence Patterson. 24, Hosea Lampley, represented by Azalee Rivers. 25, Asa Dwight, represented by Ann Dwight and Charles Dwight. 27, Matt Sherrill, represented by Dr. and Mrs. Jim Todd. 28, Bron McDaniel, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Marcus Macon. 29, Casey Carpenter, represented by Miss Connie Duncan, Mr. Charles Carpenter. Number 30, Brian Cunningham, represented by Scott and Terry Cunningham. 34, Jeff Green, represented by Mr. Larry Green, Mrs. Karen Green. 35, Chris James, represented by Wayne James and Teresa James. 36, Andy Johnson, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Clyde Johnson. 39, Blake Smith, represented by Chris Smith, Mary Smith. Number 40, Peter Putnam, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Mike Putnam. 41, George Woods, represented by George and Gina Woods, Rick and Sherry Williams. 44, Jason High, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Laverne Pinckney. 45, Timothy Bailey, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Jack Bailey. 46, Charlie Smitherman, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Bill Smitherman. 48, Kevin Carpenter, represented by Miss Connie Duncan, Mr. Charles Carpenter. 49, Scott Young, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Vance Young. 51, Brad Pittman, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Steve Pittman. 52, Charles Brock, represented by Harry and Betty Brock. 53, Clint Bagley, represented by Donald and Sandy Bagley. 54, Rick Evans, represented by Kim Evans. 55, Charmaine Goins, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Ray A. Goins. 56, Sammy Mitchell, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Sammy Mitchell. 57, Russell Kidd, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Kenneth Kidd. 58, Jamie Harris, represented by Joanne Harris. 59, Randy Patterson, represented by Evelyn Patterson and Ronnie Patterson. 60, Darby McCamey, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Thomas McCamey. 61, Todd Bailey, represented by Mr. and Mrs. John Bailey. 63, Michael Cochran, represented by Christy and Van Sturgill. 64, Joey Summers, represented by Mrs. Linda Summers and James Summers. 65, Craig Cady, represented by David and Cindy Cady. 66, Bucky Wright, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Lamar Wright. 67, Jeremy Price, represented by Mr. Terry Price and Mrs. Joan Price. 68, James Couch, represented by Mrs. Carolyn Couch. 69, Bucky Burgess, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Ronnie Burgess. 70, Matt Eichholz, represented by Charles Eichholz and Charlotte Say. 71, Mitch Cope, represented by Mr. Larry Cope, Mrs. Marie Cope. 72, Robbie Robinson, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Mike Robinson. 73, Heath Carroll, represented by Douglas and Brenda Carroll. 74, Ron Arnold, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Ron Arnold. 75, Zeke Nava, represented by Mrs. Rosa Nava. 76, Lemuel Walton, represented by Harold and Susie Walton. 77, Alan Cochran, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Van Sturgill. 78, Sean McClure, represented by Vicky and Randy Nations. 79, Lane Lewis, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Brad Lewis. 80, Chad Carson, represented by Donald Carson and Patty Curtis. 81, Tolly Campbell, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Jim Campbell. 83, Andy Eskew, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Richard Cosby. 85, Percy Hairston, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Percy Hairston. 87, Denoris Johnson, represented by Mrs. Gwen Johnson. 88, Alan Bonds, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Don Bonds. 93, Joyce Shaver, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Steve Shaver. 95, Braslin Jackson, represented by Mrs. Wanda Jackson and Mr. Ralph Jackson. 97, Josh McElroy, represented by Mr. and Mrs. Robert Coffey. 98, Jeff Townsend, represented by Ricky and Jerry Townsend. Manager, Kenya Rogers, represented by Mrs. Aline Rogers. Manager, Daniel Hoagland, represented by Dan and Charlotte Hoagland. Ball boy, Jason Carroll, represented by Douglas and Brenda Carroll. Ball boy, Jeremy Carroll, represented by Douglas and Brenda Carroll. Ball boy, Drew Townsend, represented by Ricky and Jerry Townsend. Head coach, Bill Chappell, whose wife Benita was unable to be here due to illness in the family. Coach Ronnie McClurg and his wife Judy McClurg. Coach David Evans and his wife Sheila Evans. Coach David Cady and his wife Cindy Cady. Coach Bill McManus and his wife Donna McManus. Coach Manny Pontonio and his wife Judy Pontonio. Coach Richard Garrett and his wife Angela Garrett. Coach Jim Bennett and his wife Teresa Bennett and his sons Cole and Ethan. Coach Brian Edwards and his wife Tracy Edwards. Coach Matt Land. Coach Ron Swope and his girlfriend Linda Nickel. Ladies and gentlemen, 1993's edition of the Dalton Catamounts. Let's give them a big hand. Good job, good job. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to turn the mic over to our new voice of the Catamounts, graduate of Dalton High School, noted TV personality, man about town, Rick Zizek. Let's hear it for Rick.
All right, call it in the air. If I drop the coin, we'll flip it again, okay? He said tails. It's head. Red, you won the toss. You want to kick, receive, or defer to the second half? You want to defer, okay? Thank you, sir. All right, white team. Receive, kick, or defend to go. Tell me you're going to receive, guys. Okay, which way you want to kick, Red? You want to defend that? You want to defend this goal? Okay, right here. White, you want to face it? All right. All right, go to see. All right, shake hands, fellas. Good luck.
Well, you saw our game captains and Bo Hammock and Ryan Minningham, Clint Bagley and Jeff Green. It was a beautiful night for football. And we won the toss, deferred. This will be Jay Dukes kicking off, and what a great job Jay did kicking the ball off. He kicked his first 3 out of the end zone, first 3 out of 4. They start off on a lead play. This is Kevin Carpenter, Blake Smith, and Jason Hyde making a tackle. Our starters would be Craig Cady at one end and Heath Patterson at the other. Good job by John Fordham there. Our tackles, Percy Hairston and Ron Arnold. Our nose man is Blake Smith. Little screen pass, well played right there by Heath Patterson. Well done. Heath had a nice ball game, his best game of the year. They come up and punt the football, and what a fine job John does here of getting back on the ball and brings the ball up the field for about a 20, 22-yard gain. Puts us in great field position. There's John Fordham.
All right, we start off and we get a good play on the first one, run the veer and get about 8 yards. On the second play, they run a little stunt. Benji reads it well. He just doesn't hold on to the ball here on this the second play, as you'll see. And just unfortunately, they hit it out. One of their linemen, it comes up right in his hands, right there. And he's off, and thought he was going to score there. And catches him on about the 3-yard line. In fact, Coach Chappell thought for the first 2 plays they'd scored, Coach. And he thought they was going for the extra point.
Well, I tell you, Ty never gave up, and that was a great effort on Ty's part. This was a fine play by Craig Cady and James Couch. Excellent job. Our entire defense, and Craig was first to make hit. They come back on the second play, and another good play by Craig. Good pursuit. We got to wrap up, Craig. That was George Woods and Heath Patterson making the tackle, and just an outstanding. I thought in the ball game, you talked about big plays. That was the big play of the game, this series right here. Great job right there. Good pressure, and we got a call there that probably could go either way, but we got the call on a pass interference, offensive pass interference. It was a loss of down, 15 yards, and they ended up having to punt the ball after having possession on the 3-yard line. So that was an outstanding job by our defensive kids.
Okay, so we get the ball right here on the, I don't remember, I think about the 20, no, they kicked it out on about the 8-yard line here. We run the veer, and Benji does a good job. It's good blocking right there by Ryan Minningham. Gets the ball out to the 40-yard line for us. Our tight ends, Tolly Campbell. Our tackles, Heath Carroll and Robbie Robinson's our guards, Lane Lewis and Bucky Wright. Center is Clint Bagley. Split end is, of course, Minningham. Flanker is, we're alternating right there between several guys. T.J. Finley and Charlie
JT
Bethel.
or TJ?
JT, whatever. Charlie Bethel.
That's right.
And I'll tell you the rest of them later because there's a good run by Benji for a touchdown. Big play.
A good shot here coming right at your ground level. That was an outstanding run by Benji. Outstanding job.
John Fordham's playing offense also. Ty Macon and Jose Lampley at tailback and Jeff Green at fullback.
Here we are with Craig Cady snapping the ball, Charlie Bethel holding, and George Woods doing the kicking. Outstanding job. We go up 7-0 early in the first quarter. Once again, Jay kicking off. Jay kicks the ball out of the down to about the 2-yard line. And it's Ron McDaniels down making first contact along with George Woods. Finishing up our starters, we have at strong safety, we have George Woods. At free safety, we have Bo Hammond. On the corners, we have John Fordham and Marcel Anderson. Also, we consider as a good job right there by Kevin Carpenter at a linebacker, and then we have the other linebacker would be Jason Hyde. That was another good series, 3 and out. The young man punting the football. Good job of Ryan Minningham. Ryan has done an excellent job there, along with John handling our punts. doing an outstanding job.
Okay, so we get the ball. That ball was actually kicked away from a wall. Come back, hit Ryan on a fly route for our second touchdown. Another big play. We look at this from ground level. Still caught it, didn't he, Coach?
Oh, yeah, great catch. Great catch, great throw. Once again, same kicker, George Woods kicking the ball. And we have a good situation there in George and Jay. Kind of go with whoever's kicking the ball the best in warm-ups. And here again is a great kick. That's an outstanding kick. Kick the ball through the end zone. Come back and run a toss sweep, and well played right there by George Woods and John Fordham. We're getting a lot of guys chasing the ball carrier. This is a halfback pass, and it's well played. It was just underthrown. I thought John might have a chance to come back on the ball. They come back and make another screen pass, and boy, what a great job right there. That was Darby McCamey, along with Heath Patterson. And Darby we consider Darby one of our starters also, along with Jay Dukes. Those two guys are playing a lot. Here we go. This is a great run. Great cutback. Another cutback. John's doing a good job of running with his eyes. And 44 can't get to him. Makes a great lunge into the end zone. That was an outstanding run. Outstanding individual effort. And you can see a lot of guys are very happy. And no one's more happy than John. That's the way to break a game wide open, though. It's on the kicking game. Here again, George makes it 21-3 with 3:49 to go in the first quarter. Jay Dukes kicking off, and here's another long kickoff, and that one hit just about at the pylon. So they take over, come back to the lead play. Fine job by Heath. Good job by Heath Carroll. Good pursuit by Jason High, Ty Macon. Here we miss a tackle. That was Craig flushing him out. And there's good effort by Heath Patterson, and also a good effort there by Jay Dukes. Good job by Heath and Jason, two linebackers, Jason High and Heath Carroll. So on fourth down, they punt the football. And this was a high punt, and John makes a good decision by fair catching.
All right, so we haven't been on offense very many plays, so we come back and run a streak route here. Just a little bit overthrown to John Fordham. I tell you, John's in good shape, Coach. He has to be. It's running as he does, but he's a hyper individual anyway. Come back with a counter option here, and Jose actually drops that ball. It was a good pitch. He just didn't look it in.
He does a good job of getting back on the ball.
We run a screen pass over here. Good blocking there. Charmaine Goins is playing tackle right now, giving him a look-see, and he's a big kid, about 6'4".
Wow.
I don't know how much he weighs enough, but he ought to get some more playing time.
Great kick right there by Jay Dukes. Great kick. We've been waiting on that for a long time, and I think Jay's got his timing down, dropped it down. That was a nice job. Here we come back and run ourselves. We miss a tackle right there. That's one thing we want to work on. It's Percy Harrison making the tackle. So we move into the second quarter. We'll be right back after a little pause here, and we will continue right on into the second quarter. As you can see, the scoreboard reading 21-0. Still in defense. Good job right there by Heath. We miss a tackle. Good job by Craig Cady coming across number 65 and making a hit. We need more. There we go. They run a little screen pass, but we had a chance to make a tackle there. We missed a couple of tackles, and Bo Hammock knocks him out of bounds. Bo is still playing very steady from his safety position. Doesn't make many mistakes there. He's a 2-year starter. Great job right there. Good job. Heath Patterson was in perfect position, and he makes the catch for an interception, and this is his first interception of the year, and Heath really had an outstanding ball game.
Our center didn't know it was on set right there. Clint made a big mistake, and of course this is the kind of thing we want to try to eliminate our mistakes, and I know we'll concentrate more on it. A little pressure from the backside right there, and they'll break down on our blocking. Come back here. and do a real good job getting it downfield after 2 bad plays. And I think we lead to a field goal here, don't we, Coach?
Right.
And this is a good run by Jeff Green on a trap. Good blocking in there by the interior of the line. I think the field goal may come later. We may score on this one. Beans are doing a real good job getting it down the field. Come back with a sweep. Jose showing his power right there. There's a flag, however.
We got a substitution infraction.
They had 12 people on the field. They did that quite a bit that night, Coach. That's pretty good defense. You can play 12 people.
Oh, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. We're used to that in practice sometimes.
Right. Yeah, we'd like to slip one in there. That was a great run by Ty.
Yeah, it was a good run by Ty. Good blocking.
He just has some speed. He sure has good vision and runs, has great instinct. This is George kicking his extra point, making it 28 to nothing. And Jay's kicking off. This is one of the few times that Jay did not hit the ball well. And we did not do a real good job of covering here. And the boy breaks it up the middle, and this is Ricky Hammondtree making first contact. They run a trap play, and there's Ron Arnold making the tackle, along with Craig Cady. Percy was in on that, Blake Smith. Good pressure here, and is well played by Marcel Anderson. Marcel is getting better every day, and with each snap, he's getting a little more confidence in himself and what he's doing. Here they come on a toss sweep, and boy, we've got about 7 guys out there. That is great defense, guys. That's the way to run to the football. As long as you're giving that kind of effort, you're going to be a good football team. They overrun the play here, and this is Heath Carroll coming from his linebacker position making the tackle. They run a little curl. George Woods, along with Kevin Carpenter, making the tackle. We let him out of the pocket. We flush him out from the inside, and the boy makes a nice run, and we don't do a real good job of containment. This is Heath Carroll, or Heath Patterson, making the tackle. It's a good effort by Heath. And then here's another good play by Heath, along with Jason High and Blake Smith. Blake coming from his nose position, Jason coming from the linebacker, and Heath at the defensive end. So once again, it's a big play here, and we don't hem him up. We have a chance here, and that's good hustle right there by Jay Dukes. There's one thing about it, Jay Dukes is going to give you 100% every play. Once again, good pressure, missed tackle, and then there's Darby McCamey, number 60, our 5 tackle, making the play. Darby's doing a good job of playing. Oh, what a great play by Jay Dukes. Outstanding reaction by Jay, and he makes an interception of a screen pass, and Darby McCamey was in real good position playing a spy technique there on the screen. Great play by Jake, another big turnover.
Okay, we get the ball in good field position there, and long count, run a power play, and don't block the backside linebacker who's fired. Just a break down here, come back with Veer. Okay, we just...
That's Ricky on the quarterback.
Yeah, Ricky Hammondtree is the quarterback right now. We've still got our first line in there.
Jason Hyatt, fullback.
Right.
Good block by Jason.
And this is a good run by Jose. I tell you, the boy's powerful. He's a powerful runner. He's a big kid. He's just a sophomore, going to be a good ball player. Come back here, run a trap, and try a little. We're really working our 2-minute drill right here. I think there's about a minute something left to go, and we're trying to. And Ricky's doing a good job running our 2-minute offense here.
Ryan throw.
Oh, that ball is Minningham, I think. Ryan heard footsteps right there, Coach.
Oh, no.
No, I believe he did. And this is a field goal by
George Wood. About 29-yarder. And George was very confident. He drilled the ball right through to make the score 31-0. And George has an outstanding leg and really gaining confidence in his kicking. He's going to be an outstanding kicker. This is a good job by Kevin Crawford. Kevin is really playing well for us. He's a senior and playing some strong safety also, doing a good job for us. Here is a little flea flicker and his inverted whistle. On the play, good effort there, and good alertness by Heath jumping on the football. There was a little bit of confusion on the play, and the referee just simply made a little mistake. He blew the whistle too early. They come with a halfback pass, and that was a fine job. Boy, that was a good play right there by Bo. And Bo was in excellent position and going for the ball, but we got an interference call. And I tell you what, I don't mind getting those as long as you're being aggressive and going after that football. Good pressure right there. Good pressure. And what a fine hit. Boy, that was a fine hit by Bo. Boy, it was a fine hit. Knocked the ball loose. I like that. At the end of the 2 quarters, the score is 31-0. We'll be back to view the second half after a pause for a commercial break.
Dalton Whitfield Bank and Trust invites you to call or come by and talk to one of our friendly account representatives about our full range of deposit and loan services at competitive rates. There's no service charge for regular checking accounts maintaining an average balance of $500 in your checking account, and no service charge for Classic Club checking accounts for people 50 years of age or older. There's no limit on the number of checks you write, no charge for ATM transactions, plus checks and deposit tickets are returned to you with your monthly statement. So come on in, and while you're at Dalton Whitfield Bank and Trust, discover how easy and convenient it is to have your Social Security or payroll check deposited directly into your account at Dalton Whitfield Bank and Trust. For more information about our services, call 226-1500. That's 226-1500. Or come by Dalton Whitfield Bank and Trust on the corner of Thornton and Morris Street. Dalton Whitfield Bank and Trust, what you want a bank to be. Member FDIC.
That's Mommy's little sweetheart.
Now there's a new Stainmaster carpet that handles foot traffic like never before. New Stainmaster Extra Life. Only from DuPont.
At Carpets of Dalton, we're rebuilding. That's right, we're rebuilding our galleries and our furniture showroom, but don't wait on a new showroom.
We have thousands of square feet of quality name brand furniture with new orders arriving daily.
So during our warehouse showroom sale, you can save on floor samples and all the custom orders.
So for quality and value, don't forget
Carpets of Dalton, exit 135, under the big sign in Dalton, Georgia.
Coach has a fine first half of football, and I thought we made a lot of progress in that first half, but the second half we didn't make as much progress as I was hoping we'd make.
Well, really, I don't think the first team run, but there are 3 plays on offense. Well, I know we didn't run, but 3 plays on offense this half, thanks to our kicking game. We don't get off to a real good start here. I don't think we're quite ready. We do get a good play there, and we pick up about 6-7 yards. Jeff Green off tackle. We come back here though, and they've switched defenses around just a little bit on us and trying to give us a lot of pressure and pick up, pretty good yardage right there. We come back and try a screen pass though, well, that right there is what causes some problem. We've beaten our own self here. They're not slowing us down, and we come up and try a screen pass. And they just read it good. And so Benji has to eat the ball, and let's play after this one. They ran more than I thought we did this series. But we come back, here's the screen pass. And, of course, you can see 39's out there covering Jeff. And so this puts us in a passing situation. And we don't do a real good job right there protecting straight drop back, so we have to punt it away, Coach.
And this was Jay Dukes punting the ball in his fine punt. Now that was a nice punt of 45 yards, and they had a penalty on the play, so we picked up an additional 15 yards, moved the ball up 15 yards, and Jay gets off another fine punt with no return of 44 yards. So once again, it's a nice punt. We had good coverage, and the ball rolls, and it's kicked out of bounds there on about the 34-yard line. So they take over on the 34, and they come back with a sweep, and boy, that's a fine job right there by Kevin Carpenter forcing the play, along with Craig Cady, our defensive end, making a fine play. Come back and run a little throwback, and we had it well covered. This is Marcel and Bo, and Bo was in good position, so was Marcel Anderson. Good job right there by Heath playing the screen, and look at old Darby in there. Darby was playing a spy technique and did an excellent job. So it's 3 plays and out, and they punt the football, and they kick the ball short, and good job by John. Picks up a nice block there by Darby, and this is another touchdown. Good job by Percy out there. Well done, Percy. And that's a great job by John Ford in taking it into the end zone. So that can really break. Hey, John's going down there. He may get a 15-yard penalty. Coach for celebrating.
Yeah.
He's got a little high five.
So one of the negative parts of our kick game right here, Coach.
I like to see him get excited, though. That's great.
We got a bad snap coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we had our 4th-string snapper in there, if I'm not mistaken. And John, that was Charlie doing a good job of trying to get something out of nothing. And we missed the extra point, and that's a score of 37-0. Jay kicking off and kicks the ball high, good height down to the 1-yard line. Boom. Good job right there. Baron McDaniel's down making the tackle along with Darby and Blake Smith. Good pressure right there by Craig, but we missed a tackle. We missed another tackle. And this is Jason High coming up making the tackle. Just got to do a better job, guys, of tackling them. This was Heath Carroll making the tackle. And made a good tackle. That's another good job by Heath Carroll on the lead play, along with Craig Cady.
Jay's ready to go, isn't he,
got
Coach?
That motor crank. And we didn't play that real well. That was Bo Hammock coming across, making a tackle, along with Heath Patterson. And I tell you what, Jay's going to give you 100%. Big throw down the field, and they take the ball, complete the pass down to about the 2.5-yard line. So play a good job right there by George Wood. Fine job, George, for a yard loss. And they on 2nd down, another fine play. That was Bucky. Yeah, it was Bucky, right. And on 3rd down, good job by Jay and Bucky and a host of our down linemen. There's James Couch getting up, Percy Harrison getting up. So that's a good job. So we've held him now, but we got to play smart on 4th down. 4th down, we came out and completed the pass for a touchdown. So they get on the scoreboard. They go for 2. And good tackle there by John Ford, along with Bucky Wright. So it's scored 37-6 with 1:22 to go. And they kind of occupied the ball time-wise.
Yep. And I get to say something right here. We take this all the way back for a touchdown. People seeking out, I don't think it shows on the video, but Lane Lewis made a good block on there. And, Robbie made a good block right there, and Charlie Bethel screening out that player, letting us get into the end zone, and Ty Macon takes it back 90 yards, Coach.
That was a thing of beauty also. That he was giving a little shake and bake up through there a couple of places, and that was just an outstanding running. Oh, he'd have been there 5 seconds earlier had he had that speed. But that was a great run by Ty. And this is, I believe this was Jay kicking the extra point, Jay Dukes. And this is George kicking off. George is a fine kickoff man with great height, right down to about the 2-yard line. Good pressure. That's the way to come down the field. There's Jay Dukes, and first one down, and then that was Kevin Crawford making the tackle along with George, the kicker. And they jump off sides. Finley was in on that also. J.T. Finley. XYZ made a fine hit on it. We let him out there. It's Bucky Wright. And on the tackle. So we're at the end of 3 quarters. The score 44-6. And we move right on into the fourth quarter with Gordon Central in possession of the ball from the 30-yard line. That's a good job by tight end, got off again. There's Bucky Wright and Bo Hammock making a tackle. On the lead play, good play right there by Heath Carroll. There's James Couch making a tackle. And the boy, that was Heath Patterson making a good play from his drop-in position. And we've got to do a better job right there containing. We let him out. That was on a big play. It was a third down play, and they flush him out of the pocket, and we don't contain him. They throw the look in, the slant pattern, incomplete. Come back and throw the pass, and that was Bucky Wright out there. Good movement by Bucky and stripping of the receiver of the ball. We try to get some pressure up the middle. Blake flushing once again, and Heath Patterson. Heath Patterson along with Jason High making the tackle. Nice hit right there. Good job of Marcel Anderson getting his left arm in on the ball. That was on a fourth down play, Coach.
Okay, we got our second unit in right now, and this is that's McDaniels.
Yeah, that's Brian
McDaniels running the ball. We got Anson High at fullback here. We got Bucky Burgess at center, and Michael Cochran at guard, and Darby McCamey come over and play guard. We got...
who's that big 55?
55, Charmaine Goins. He's been playing a lot with the first unit. And also Todd Bailey's there. Andy Eskew playing at tight end.
That's a great run by Brian McDaniel.
It was a good run. I think Zach Stafford's in at wide out. Come back here, and we kind of bogged down here trying to run it up the middle on these guys. And, of course, that's Ricky Hammondtree at quarterback. And this is Ron McDaniels. Gotta have a little more blocking out there, fellas. Good line splits by there. Come back with the option to the other side.
So this is fourth down play.
Fourth down play, don't quite make it.
So they take over on about the 12-yard line. Come back with the sweep. Boy, this is Alan Bonds. Alan's going to be a fine player, doing a good job. Jay Dukes, with Michael Howell. Got a lot of people around the football. This is our seconds and third teamers are in at the present time, and we let him get outside of containment. They pick up a big yardage. But it sure is good to be able to get these young men in the ball game. They work awfully hard in practice, and certainly deserving of any time they can get. And hopefully that every ball game will be like this. I know it's not going to always be like this, but anytime we can get them in that game, we're going to attempt to. There's Michael Howell once again, number 8, making the tackle. I believe this will be Alan Bonds again, doing a good job there. There's Andy Johnson, strong safety, and on the tackle also. They come back with a halfback pass going down the field, and it completes the ball down to about the 35, 34-yard line on a halfback pass. They come back with the same pass. It was not open, and he cuts it up the field. And here again, Alan Bonds is in on the tackle. Here's Evans in on the tackle. We've got to let him outside once again. So we've got most of the guys in, well, all the guys in right now are the young men that played, are freshmen and sophomores, and they take it in for a touchdown. That makes the score 12, and they throw a two-point conversion. And it's now 44-14 with 132 remaining.
So they kick off to us here, and we're going to put in our actually our third-teamers are JV and all freshmen and sophomores, and run a bunch of them in there. And I know they're real excited. I wish they could move the ball because I tell you, it's still they're going against the first defense out there for Gordon Central. And they were excited getting to play, and makes week of practice go a lot better, Coach. Be able to get these guys in.
Well, that's certainly the future right there, and the more experience they can get now, the better the future looks.
Really, we didn't get set right here, so we get a penalty.
Looks like that Canadian football.
Yeah, everybody's in motion. And I think they take the...
All right, Captain, what you want to do?
They take the play, and anyway, it was more loss on the play, plus the loss of down and come back, and we're just eating us up right in there now. So we actually don't come out of the huddle, and that's the end of the ball game, Coach, but a good one to win.
It sure is, and that puts our young men at 3-0, and looking forward to next Friday night when we go to Southeast Whitfield. Certainly it'll be a big game for both schools, and we certainly hope our young people are up to the challenge and preparing for Southeast, who runs a wishbone offense, and it's going to be certainly a challenge for those guys, and I know that they're looking forward towards that challenge this week and getting ready for our neighbors Southeast.
We'll be right back, Coach.
We'll be right back after a commercial break with Irwin and Coach Chappell.
We ran a test on our carpet. Actually, we walked it 50,000 foot treads. And we proved that Anso Crush Resistor still looked good because Anso Crush Resistor bounces back. But when you come into the showroom, you may want to bring some test equipment of your own. Anso Crush Resistor, the carpet that bounces back.
In Augusta, a new pickup helped the Dixons turn weekend projects into profits. In Carrollton, we helped the Mitchells put down roots in their neighborhood. And in Albany, a hatchback allowed Deborah Carver's son to start college with more than just new towels. Nations Bank loan specialists have helped people all across Georgia with car loans, loan refinancing, and loans for home improvements. Come see how Nations Bank can give you the power to make a difference in your life.
Hello, Danny Taylor here for Cosby Ford Mercury. Cosby Ford Mercury has a large inventory of fine, low-mileage, late-model trade-ins and Ford program cars to choose from that won't squeeze your budget. And at Cosby Ford Mercury, all their frontline used cars are backed with a Ford factory warranty. Cosby Ford Mercury, 27 North in Lafayette, Georgia. Discover the Cosby difference and hang in there.
Well, Coach, now we're going down to Southeast Friday night. Southeast tied Darlington, I believe, 13-13 Friday night. They've got a win over Gordon Central. And I'm sure that with Coach Hargis, it's a new day is dawning down there.
Coach Hargis is doing a fine job with those people. He's a good football coach, and he's a gentleman. I consider him a very good friend. He'll have that program going good, and he'll have this team doing real well before this year's out. They beat Gordon Central 14-13, I believe, and tied with Darlington 13-13. So they've been in every ball game right up to it, and I'm sure that we'll bring out the best in Southeast. So we'll have to be prepared, and we'll have to be ready to play our best game this year.
Well, it's also a region game, and
right.
They all count from now on. Of course, the first 3 wins count too, but these are region games, and we need them all.
Well, I told the kids Friday night, the preliminaries are over now. Your first 3 were preliminary games. Now we get into the main events, and that's your region. And so we can't stumble and fall. We've got to keep going and get better and better with each ball game.
All right, Coach. Well, get them ready this week, and we'll be down there early to see you warm up.
Good. Appreciate it.